What's up, guys? Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks so much for being here again. We just wrapped up UFC 315. We're going to get into all that. New episode of MMA After Dark. Thank you for joining me again. I'm your host, Paul. Before we get started, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, and it sure means a whole lot to me. I can't wait to talk about the main events of UFC 315, JDM against Belal Muhammad. What a fight. We have a Fight of the Year contender and a new welterweight champion as Jack Della Maddalena gets the unanimous decision victory over the former champion now, Belal Muhammad. What an incredible fight. From round 1 to round 5, just constant action, constant movement, just so much to be had in that fight, and a lot to break down. Keys to victory for Jack Della Maddalena, and a surprising early game plan from Belal Muhammad. We're going to get into all that, guys. But again, before we do, don't forget to hit that like, hit that subscribe button, guys. All right, so we're going to get started now. New episode of MMA After Dark. Thanks again for joining me. All right, guys, so we just wrapped up the main event, UFC 315, JDM versus Belal Muhammad. There is a lot to break down in this fight, and thankfully, man, what a treat for the fans. Jack Della Maddalena, we already know, known for mixing up those hands. He's a striker. Not necessarily going to go as far to say that he's a one-dimensional fighter, but I mean he's a striker, right? He's a guy that likes to mix it up on the feet. He's not known as a grappler, although can grapple if need be as a secondary means of offense. And then, we have Belal Muhammad, the former champion going into this fight, looking for his first title defense, known as a guy that really likes to be grappling first, grapple first, and then mix it up with the striking, with some ground and pound. And so I think a lot of people anticipated that this fight could have had the possibility of being very similar to the Belal Muhammad against Leon Edwards fight, where he just got in his face early, just constant pressure, constant takedowns, did not let Leon Edwards get going with his first means of offense. It just kept him on the back foot constantly, just stayed in his face, pressure, and just dominated that fight pretty much for all 5 rounds. And so, going into this fight, I think this a lot of the experts and a lot of the people that were doing reporting leading up to this fight really thought that this could be another tailor-made fight for Belal Muhammad, in the sense that he's fighting a guy with not identical styles in Leon Edwards and Jack Della Maddalena, but guys that were primarily strikers first. JDM, a little bit different kind of striker. He's a guy that can strike at distance, but can also mix it up in close range, in the pocket, dirty boxing in the clinch if need be, mixes it nicely, all areas, head hunting, body work, and leg kicks when need be, but he's and a very defensively sound striker for the most part. And so not quite the same type of striker. We know Leon does most of his damage distance striking, which is where he does most of his damage and is most dangerous. But you had to think that Belal was going to implement a similar style, a similar game plan in fighting Jack Della Maddalena, because we know that he has the edge in the grappling and has the edge when the fight goes to the ground, right? And you had to think that if this was going to be a standing affair, I mean, you got to give the edge to JDM, because that's where he does his best work. I mean, if you're going to stand on the feet with JDM for even 3 out of the 5 rounds, I mean, you're running the risk of definitely being behind the 8 ball in the fight, and that's really the story of this fight. Jack Della Maddalena kept him behind the 8 ball this whole fight. Now, so much of that is a credit to his masterful striking. We saw JDM get off first with the striking, and when he went first, he was landing powerful shots. And I love that he was able to mix it up. He didn't just go headhunting the whole fight, right? He did mix it up to the body, got some really nasty body shots and leg kicks, really distributed his offense effectively to all areas, right? And really put Belal Muhammad in a position to where he really couldn't get much of his grappling going. You know, if you look back to the JDM, the Belal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards fight, where Belal Muhammad was able to win the welterweight title, he did not let Leon get comfortable on the feet. He wasted no time getting in his face, going for takedowns, pushing him against the fence, control time against the fence, shooting, reshooting, coming back up after shooting, doing some striking from the clinch against the fence, shooting again, taking him down, ground and pound, gets back up, same thing, gets up, one leg up, he's going to switch to single leg, right? Just constant pressure and not letting Leon get off any of those distance striking or really much of any striking. And so you had to think that going into round one, we were going to see that same game plan. But he waited. He waited and waited and waited. And in previous interviews with him, he's really made a point in really talking up his offensive game, particularly his ability to box. I think at one point he's went as far to say is, "Oh, I got hands like Canelo, or I got the Canelo hands." He truly must have believed that going into this fight, because I had a hard time understanding why he did not immediately try to pressure JDM, push him against the fence, shoot for takedowns, get in the clinch, reshoot, go to switch to single leg, body locks, whatever it might have been. I mean, he left no box unchecked against Leon Edwards in regarding the grappling and then switching to getting meaningful strikes in close distance, going back to the takedown attempts, and just confusing him. Not Leon Edwards not knowing, okay, what's happening? Is he going to shoot? Is he going to box with me? Like, he did not know what was coming from where. He did not have that same approach against JDM in this fight. For much of the first round, you could even hear DC on commentary make comments about, like, wow, I'm not sure why he's waiting so long to engage in the grappling, something, body locks, double leg takedowns, single leg, something, anything. He really seemed to want to make a point that he could outstrike JDM on the feet. And while he did find some success, it was not enough for him to overtake those rounds, and particularly a lot of those early rounds. What made him so successful in the Leon Edwards fight is not only the, I mentioned before, the constant pressure, pushing him against the fence, going for double legs, single legs, body locks, and then coming up, striking from the clinch, knowing when to retreat, get back out, reshoot, single leg, double leg, whatever it might have been. He did that so much early to where he had Leon Edwards trying to play catch up the entire fight. When you're able to do that early against a guy that is, I'm not going to say one-dimensional, but we know what JDM is. He's a striker, right? When you're facing a striker or a guy that's really one-dimensional or not multifaceted, when you get behind in the fight, round by round, and you have only one path to victory, it's going to be really hard to make up that ground. Just like it was for Leon Edwards. We knew at no point Leon was going to try to start grappling with Belal Muhammad. We knew he wasn't going to abandon the striking game and go to like a plan B. So Belal was able to cruise through that whole fight. Just going to keep making him play catch up. And I'm gassing him out. I'm keeping him on the ground. I'm smothering him so much. I'm in his face constantly that he's not going to be able to get those distance striking off. And he wasn't. And so then you have the fight against JDM where he just continued to be content with standing and trading with him. And then we saw in the later rounds where he did try to implement a little bit more of a grappling heavy approach. At that point, it was just too late because the tables have now turned, and now Belal is now behind. He is the one now trying to play catch up, which is interesting because I did think this was a clear victory for JDM. I did think round by round there were some rounds closer than others, right? If you look at the scorecards, we got 2 48-47s and then a 49-46 unanimous decision. So let's think about this fight in totality here, right? And knowing what the judges turned in the scorecards, two of them, 48-47 for JDM. One round would have flipped this whole thing. And then it's not and new, it's and still. And still champion Belal Muhammad. I look back to that first round. That first round was the key to this entire fight. Knowing now what the judges turned in, Belal waited and waited and waited until the later rounds to really try to implement a grappling heavy approach. But by then, how much work had JDM done to the body, to the head, to the legs? If he implements that approach in the first round, where both guys are still dry, he's got his power, he's got his strength, he hasn't been banged up, he hasn't taken those body shots, he hasn't gotten the wind knocked out of him, his legs aren't beat up, he's totally 100% there with his vision and everything from not getting knocked around a whole lot. If he takes that first round, guys, he's still champion. And I just keep thinking back to that Leon Edwards fight about how he went right in his face. He did not go into that fight thinking, oh, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to mix it up with him on the feet. I'm going to show him. I'm going to, abandon the grappling early. I'm going to show everybody. I'm going to show all the fans. I'm going to show the commentators. I'm going to show everybody out there in social media that I'm a striker, right? He said, no, forget that. I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to get in this guy's face. I'm going to take him down. If he gets back up, I'm going to take him down again. Double leg's not there. I'm switching to single leg. I'm switching to body lock. Going to take him down. He escapes really quick. I'm pushing him back up to the fence, getting in some dirty boxing, some clinch striking. I'm out. I'm resetting, and I'm doing it all over again. If he has that same approach in round one as he did against Leon Edwards, he might still be the champ right now. You have to think Belal at full force, having taken very little damage, as early in the round as possible, going straight at him. You have to think he's got a much better chance of getting at least that first round. And then what happens after that? Then is JDM maybe rethinking his approach, right? Is he now a little more concerned about the takedown, the way Leon Edwards was, right? Because now it's not just a matter of, okay, I got to look out for the striking. Now it's like, oh man, I got to watch out for that takedown. They always talk about it on commentary, the threat of the takedown. But Belal didn't show really much of a threat of a takedown early until we got into kind of the middle to late rounds. So then what does JDM do? You going to stand and trade with me? Let's go. Let's dance. Pieced him up. Round after round. And while Belal did land also, make no mistake about it, Belal really did surprise me with his toughness, his ability to absorb damage, heavy shots, body, legs, head, you name it, and keep coming. The problem is, though, when Belal got one, JDM seemed to get three back. One to the head, one to the body, one to the leg, uppercut. And by the time he tried to implement his grappling heavy approach, JDM was so comfortable because he knew the damage was already there, so he was ready. He was absolutely ready. He knew, oh, okay, you're gonna get in close range with me. You could just see he was a step ahead the whole time. Belal was thinking about a shot. JDM was there, either ready to sprawl or ready to land something. Uppercut, knee, kick, whatever it might have been. He was ready for everything. And that's what happens when you get behind the 8 ball too early and then you try to implement your plan A. It's just too late. You can't do that against a guy as talented as JDM. Heavy hands, heavy kicks, heavy body shots. He absolutely gave it to him. On that same hand, you got to tip your hat to Belal for being as tough as he was. That last round, whew, my goodness. It looked like JDM was very close to getting him out of there, and honestly, he probably was. At the end of the fight, Belal couldn't even raise his hands in perceived celebration, it seemed. It seemed like he thought maybe he had a shot at winning the fight. He got to about right here as he was trying to raise his hands, and he just couldn't do it. He was so tired. Doctor report afterwards said looked like a broken orbital, broken nose, and a split lip. I don't think anyone's going to question Belal Muhammad's toughness after that fight. Man, he really gave it his all. He did not want to relinquish that belt. He really put on for his country, put on for himself, his team. You know, can't really clown Belal Muhammad anymore after that kind of, I don't want to say performance, but that display of toughness. You have to question the decisions, though, right? You really do. I initially picked Belal Muhammad because, again, you can't compare two fighters, no matter how close they are in styles, apples to apples, right? It just doesn't work like that. They're two totally different fighters. But on that same hand, you had to look at this matchup and think, well, we've seen Belal against a very, very talented striker in Leon Edwards and a guy that doesn't have much skills in the grappling department. And he's booked against his first title defense against another guy that's a very dangerous striker, but really doesn't have a whole lot to offer in terms of the grappling. But his first order grappling defense in this fight was very good. And when I say first order grappling defense, I don't mean just his ability to sprawl, right? Or his ability to continue to like circle, right? And move away from any potential openings he might be giving up. Openings for a takedown, right? It's the striking. Because Belal showed that he could handle getting pieced up. His head, face was busted up, right? But let's look at the significant strikes by round. And I love the distribution. And this is what I mean by first order takedown defense, grappling defense. Okay, round one, JDM. Significant strikes to the head, 14 out of 39. Significant strikes to the body, 7 of 11. Significant strikes to the legs, 7 of 11. For a total of 28 of 61. Round two, significant strikes to the head, 16 of 45. Significant strikes to the body, 10 of 14. 4 of 4 with the leg kicks, round three. 20 of 58. Significant strikes to the head. Body shots, 10 of 14. And then 4 more. 4 out of 4 to the legs. Round 4. Started headhunting a little bit more. 27 of 48 to the head. 4 of 8 to the body. 2 of 3 leg kicks. Then really did some nice work to the body in that last round. Round 5. 36 of 64. Significant strikes to the head. 16 of 18. Significant strikes to the body, and then 1 of 1 to the leg. Significant strikes. When you are able to mix it up like that, particularly in the early rounds, rounds 1 through 3, I think he landed, looks like a total of 27 significant body shots. The camera didn't capture all of those very accurately. I know a lot of those were in close distance, clinch, in the pocket, but there were some. I remember there was one in particular where you heard that thing pop. It looked like a liver shot, and that you could hear that throughout the arena. And it was his ability to mix up his significant striking and not just get happy with the headhunting. All those things play into great first order grappling defense. If you take the guy's air out of him, if you beat up his legs, he is just not going to be the same. And you have significantly decreased your opponent's ability to implement his first order grappling. Brilliant stuff from JDM. People always think that takedown defense, grappling defense, okay, ability to sprawl, ability to circle, ability to move away, don't leave any openings, right, for the takedown. You can have fantastic first order grappling defense by using some offensive weapons, if that makes sense. All those things. And then on top of that, his ability to circle, his ability to continue to go first, his ability to sprawl when necessary, right? To have a good base, a good strong base, all those things played into it. If he's headhunting the whole fight, maybe Belal still has a little bit more behind those takedown attempts. And then maybe we're seeing a shift in at least one of these rounds. And guys, need I remind you again, one round would flip this whole thing on two of the judges' scorecards, right? One clear round could have potentially flipped this whole fight, right? But brilliant stuff from JDM. Absolute brilliant stuff. So now we have a new welterweight champion in Jack Della Maddalena. Islam Makhachev immediately tweeted out that he's next, right? That's his plan. He wants to move up to welterweight, and he wants to, it looks like, become double champ. I don't know if he has any plans in relinquishing the lightweight strap quite yet. It looks like he might be planning on potentially defending both. Who knows? We'll see, right? UFC might have some other plans for that. I love that matchup, though. I absolutely love that matchup. There's a lot of people talking on MMA social media right now, already picking JDM for that fight. JDM wins. Islam can't handle his striking. JDM's going to do the same thing to Belal, or to Islam that he did to Belal. That could very well happen. We haven't seen Islam at 170. Off the top of my head, I don't know who I'd pick right now for that fight. I think it'd be an awesome fight, though. I do think, though, that JDM needs to continue to work on his grappling defense when a takedown has been successful from his opponent. Belal wasn't able to get there that much. Islam, at a certain point, will take him down. I feel very confident in saying that. And JDM is going to need to tighten up and polish up some of those positions he found himself in, particularly when he was on all fours. There was one point where Belal had him on all fours, headlock position. All I kept thinking of, what now, to be honest, because we've seen it so much from Islam, when I see guys in that position, I automatically go to a place of like, oh man, they're going to sink in that darce, right? Because that's just what I see. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, because we've seen the champion Islam Makhachev do it so many times. He loves getting guys in that position. JDM finds himself in that position against Islam Makhachev. That's going to be some problems for him. It really is. And I think that, I don't even think, I know that Islam is I'm going to say significantly better grappler than Belal Muhammad. Belal Muhammad is a good grappler. I don't think we've ever thought of him on the same level as, in terms of his grappling ability, Islam, Habib, Hamzat, right? These guys that are just constant wet blanket approach, dragging you down, just drenched all over you, constantly wearing you down over and over and over again. I think that's going to be a challenge for him. But we know Islam likes to mix it up on the feet also, right? We saw that in the Poirier fight. And I think it took him until, I can't remember now, it was that 4th or the 5th round where he finally was able to submit Dustin. But man, Dustin landed some big shots on him too, and Islam kept coming. So we know he can take a good shot, but man, am I intrigued by that fight. Craig Jones had a lot to say after this fight. Craig Jones makes a lot of jokes, and he's a guy that likes to push boundaries with some of his content. He's a funny guy, but he was really clowning Dagestani wrestling, saying that pretty much, oh yeah, we've cracked the code, we found the solution, right? Now, he's Team Australia. He's going to keep implementing it. We're going to keep knocking all these guys off. Well, first thing, Belal Muhammad is not Dagestani. There's elements of his grappling that are the Dagestani style, but really, I mean, it's become so widely accepted and embraced throughout MMA that like everybody's using that style pretty much. If you're a grappling, wrestling first kind of guy, the Dagestani handcuffs. We saw Manon Fiorot do it to Valentina Shevchenko, right? Take it down and wrap up the legs with your own legs from behind. Don't let them move. Just keep them, nice and locked, right? And I know there's other elements besides that. But also, Craig, you were also in Volk's corner when he lost, 2 of those fights. I don't think Volk went away from that fight thinking, well, at least we solved the grappling problem. Like, yeah, no. Volk's a champion with a championship mindset. You think Volk went away thinking like, oh, well, I lost, but at least I didn't get, taken down a whole lot. Like, I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? I think Craig Jones definitely helped JDM in this fight. I don't even think, I know he did. There was things that he brought to JDM's game that if we're not there probably would have been some problems for him, right? But I guess we're going to find out, right? When Islam and JDM fight. Man, I hope they book that fight. I'm bummed that we're not going to get to see Topuria versus Islam, because man, I would have loved to see that fight. And part of the reason why, selfishly, I was kind of pulling for Belal, because I really wanted to see Islam versus Ilya. Hopefully we still get that fight at some point. Who knows what's going to happen. The welterweight and lightweight divisions are crazy right now, but in a good way. And now we have a new champion with all kinds of potential future matchups. Even if they don't go the Islam route, you got Joaquin Buckley waiting in the wings. Who wouldn't want to see that fight? Are you kidding me? Joaquin Buckley against JDM? Sign me up. Shavkat. Is she Shavkat against JDM? Sign me up. There's Ian Gary against JDM. Man, sign me up. And I know they're not going to do this. I know they're not. And I'm not saying they should. And I'm not saying that would be my first choice. But after this fight we just had, would anyone really hate to see this rematch? I'm not saying immediate rematch, but would anyone hate it if they ran this back? That was an incredible fight. With so much to offer. Got to tip your hat to both guys. Incredible fight. Although I do question Belal's game plan, particularly in that first and second round. This was JDM's night, and he deserves all the accolades, all the credit in the world. This was not something that Belal gave away, or it was necessarily Belal's fight to lose. JDM showed that he's got more to offer than just a traditional stand-up boxer, striker kind of guy. He's a champion, and he proved it. Can't wait to see what's next. Thanks for joining me, guys. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time on MMA After Dark. Take care.